Welcome back. My name is Lost, and today we're back to work on our storage facility. You can almost see all of it from here. As you probably figured out from before, this is going to be a very big circle divided into quadrants with a center circle. Do not try to do circles in Minecraft. Seriously, don't. It is a terrible idea. You will regret every second of it. They suck so much. I'm not joking. For right now, this is not the exact ground level. This is the lowest point of the canal level that I'm at. And yes, the canals are going to continue. I'm serious. I spent so long getting these circles to work. I think I've got all of this outside circle. The inside circle is still being an absolute menace and not cooperating and refusing to quite finish. But at this point, that's an it problem. That's probably the last thing in the storage facility, it's both, that's going to be built. So it can be a menace if it wants to. I'm just not dealing with it right now. I'll deal with it later. Once I get closer to having to work on that part, then I will argue with it and figure out what to do with the one piece of it that still refuses to be a circle. And I still don't know why. I don't math enough to know this. But regardless, this city slash storage facility is going to end up having 4 districts. Isn't quite the right word, but it also kind of is. That I'm going to divide for different kinds of materials. I am, however, unfortunately not going to have quite enough space for everything I need just in here based on the divisions I'm thinking of doing. So I am going to have to build a small additional area that's not quite in the city, i.e. it's going to be an airship. That's the plan. It's going to be an airship for materials coming from the end, just because I don't really have a good spot for them that works in here. A lot of ice is going to have to get taken all the way down in order to make this work, and a lot of cobble is going to end up being put in. How many times am I going to do that? But yes, this is a trade city. So we are building the essentially various merchant warehouse offices to store all the materials in. Everybody gets to sell something different. Yay. It's going to be very boring if you have to watch me place all of this though, so I'm going to time lapse this until I've got a whole lot of cobblestone in place. Be right back. Okay. Many blocks later, this portion is filled in. I finally got the middle fixed. Finally. Turns out I can't count. I had this 1 block too far forwards. Not sure how I made this side work. That side is correct now. This finally fits. It's the right everything. Finally. That should not have been that difficult to figure out, and yet it was. But that's all organized, which means I have all the circles the size that I need them to be. They're not all filled in. The edge of the canal is right here, which I did put in. No, this is not at ground level. It's 2 blocks below, but that's fine. There's only going to be a 1 block gap between them, but this way I can actually move around while I'm building the platform without falling constantly or fumbling around, and I can put things down and such. Whoops, this bin. So, I did admittedly do some redstone off camera. I did the singular piece of redstone that I know how to do, and that is a very small sheep farm. I don't know where the design comes from. It's not mine. I got it off the internet somewhere. If anybody knows whose it is, please feel free to tag it. Yeah, no, not mine. The thing here is, I figure we need approximately 16 or 17 storage buildings in this area. So that's going to be a bit of an endeavor. We have plenty of room for them, but it's still going to be an endeavor. I do want sort of one big central in the middle building. The canals are going to continue around the outside and around the two circles and along these lines, not into the middle though. This is going to be one building in here. So there's not going to be any canals or anything going into that, although the lines are still there. Eventually those might get removed. I haven't done any planning for this yet. It has taken a very long time to put all this stone in. Rip to the stony shore that was partially leveled and will probably end up completely leveled in order to get me all of this cobble and enough cobble for the other 3. This might be the one that has the most individual buildings. We're probably going to want to do smaller buildings along the outsides and larger buildings towards the middle. Kind of vaguely central. Oops, not there. This is just mocking outlines of buildings. I can leave this here in all honesty, like permanently. That's not going to be what I want. I should have a pair of shears. I don't. So breaking wool is going to take a while. It's the one problem. If I want to do a really centrally kind of building, it's going to have to be on a diagonal, which I don't love. Or sort of a weird V shape. Let's see. This might all change. This is just roughing in. Like I said, I have not planned any of this yet, so this is not going to end up being this shape. I already know, but just for now, just to get an idea of the scale I'm looking for here. Yeah, the various different areas are going to have different sort of styles. This is the what I'm calling ground blocks area. Oops. So all the dirt, all the stones, all the clay, gravel, sand, deep slate, tuff, all of that, minus ores. No ores, no plants, and only from the overworld. Nether may very well be kitty corner here, so far side of the center there. Plants and tree blocks and moss and stuff will go in a second area, and the fourth area is going to be mobs, crops, food, and any odds and ends that I haven't fit into somewhere else. Candles are probably going to end up in the fourth area. And end, because it only has comparatively a very small number of unique resources. Basically there's endstone and what's it called? Endstone purpur, that's what it's called. Things like end rods and chorus fruit, and that's most of it. It's going to get sort of described before, I said it was going to be an airship. That's currently sort of the plan, is have something adjacent and connected but not part of this because it doesn't really fit well. The very center is where the ores and valuables are going to go. There are a few things that won't be stored here. redstone components, redstone in general, I think is going to have its own place because it doesn't fit very well anywhere. And something like armor is not going to go here because it just doesn't work very well. And yeah. Enchanted books, though regular books will probably be here. Potions probably won't be here. Weapons and tools probably won't be here again. But everything else kind of will be. So there's just a few little extra spots that are going to need to be built separately. I'm thinking this area is going to be fairly square, the block area. I want this moved back one more block. There we go. Make you a little bit longer if I can without really running into things. Obviously there's going to be some very small things in here, like say mud and mud bricks, something like clay, something, not so much bricks, things like that. There's only 1 or 2 items that are going to be stored. And maybe things, I mean, like mud, you're not going to use a ton of ever. So it's kind of one of those things that's going to be in a smaller building. I do want these buildings to be kind of close together. And sort of not really very matched. They're kind of just all over the place. They're kind of like warehouses. They're kind of long and large, but not very organized at the same time. Like the door's over here on that one, and the door's over here on this one. There's probably going to be at least one that's weirdly facing inwards, even though it's like on an edge. That's going to end up being quite a bit bigger than I made it. I'm just going to say that now. This spot is going to... The problem is this is hard to... I've got lots of wool. I can just increase the size. This is going to be the sort of just general stone building. I have another whole shulker full of wool. Let's hear it for AFKing. These are still just rough guidelines, but yeah. So that's going to be stone, smooth stone, cobblestone, stone bricks, all in this building. Meaning it's going to need to be a little bit on the larger side, and that also includes all of their various versions. One odd thing I just realized I'm going to have to put somewhere, probably in a very small spot in this area, is the non-blocks of iron. Iron's going to be in the middle with the other ores, but iron doors and iron trapdoors shouldn't really be there. That doesn't really make sense. So somewhere in here there will probably be a very small space where they go. There will also be at one basement in each of these places. So far I just know about this one, and I'm hoping to do one in each, but currently it's just going to be, the only one I've got like a thought for is this one, because it's going to be the snow and ice and such. I might bring that back even one more block. It still feels a little squishy. It's 3 blocks, but it's right along the main canal. We'll move this back one more. I will probably move quite a few things, quite a few places. I do want to have at least a little area at the front. It's kind of built right now, something, where there's just like sort of a pool where boats can sit for a second before they come into the like city proper. I mean, there's going to be odds and ends. No matter what I do, there's going to be some odds and ends that have to go places. They might end up over with the mob drops and food, just because I don't know that there's going to be enough in there to really be a big concern. Where are you? Yep. Oops. I probably won't end up leaving all the wool here once things get built. Yeah. I have more wool, don't worry. I will probably end up clearing out all the wool to reuse in each different place because it's a lot easier. I am definitely doing these one at a time. Whoopsies. Okay, this building is slowly getting messier and messier. I'm not quite deciding where things are going to go. This is a larger one. It's probably going to have something like a granite or an andesite, or a diorite in it, because they have various forms, or something like, what's it called? Terracotta. Yeah. That's got a whole bunch of different versions. Something like terracotta would probably work really well in here because you could do sort of a terracotta and a glazed terracotta, or you could do it 2 floors, or however you decide to do things. We do need some little bitty places though for stuff that doesn't get used a ton, but you still need to have. Where's one of these really annoying sidewaysy spots? Nope. That's going to be too close. I need to move this back a block or 2. Some of these edges might get finagled around a little bit. It's rough. It's supposed to be rough. That's all it's doing. Just a bunch of little, like, market stall type things where you can have 4 or 5 bits that are pretty small and don't need a whole lot of room, but still they need to go somewhere. Leave a bit of space in between. Partial, like so, and then back to a straight line for a bit. So it's mostly kind of, oopsies, square, but also has like a big curved window kind of a thing on one side. Because that looks cool. Yep. And I mean, if you've got like this to work with as a location, and you can just look out and see that, why not? You've got a view, you might as well use the view. Got a whole bunch of space here. Let's just go very long. I'm gonna put dirt in a very, very long building. That's too far. Because there's not very many dirts, technically, that you need to have, but you need a lot of it when you need it, generally. 1, 2, 3, sort of here. Oops. Just getting some shapes. Not permanent. This isn't paint or ink. It's not etched in stone. Wool might be annoying to move around, but I can move it. Yeah, I got a very long one. You could put another... Oh, how much do I want to torture myself? I'm going to put just a little pillar in there for now. Actual... Maybe put... This is sort of a weird spot. Maybe put the basement area on one of these 2 buildings. Probably that one. Just because it makes sense. There's a lot of space there, so you could reasonably have, like, dug-in stairs and space here to work. It makes sense, and this isn't really a good space to put another building in. I'll leave that there. But it's enough space to, like, have an opening where you could be storing snow and ice somewhere nearby. I have a lot of snow and ice right now because of all of the things I've had to remove from this area. Maybe, how many have we got? Not counting the little beans over there. We got 4, 6, we'll say 7. So we need a few more, like 10 more. I feel like I want to do, I'm just gonna do a weird thing here. Because I want to do one circular building somewhere in here, but I can't freehand that. So I'm just gonna have to figure out how big I want this to be and then build it in. Which I can't do right now. We'll sort of put a boundary line over here somewhere, like torch boundary line there for the circle building. Kind of don't build anything in that area because it's going to take up that space. And kind of similar idea there. I do still need some torches though, so I'm going to pick some of these back up. There. That's sort of reserved area for that building that's not in here yet, but whatever. Give me this, give me you, give me you, give me that one could stay. There we go. Probably another small place or diagonally building front here. That's not gonna work. The problem is you have to kind of match the the curvature of this, which very much keeps changing. Try something different, sort of from, not quite there. There's the corner, so kind of from here-ish. And maybe like so. Not quite that flat though. The round one won't come all the way out to this corner, so that's fine. Something like dripstone or geodes could go over here. Oh dear. Yeah. This whole place is pretty much a mob spawner. And I keep not lighting it up well enough to avoid it. I really can't afford to have creepers go off up here or I have to redo everything. Sorry for the big jump. I have, in a bit of thinking, made one change. I'm not going to put a circular tower in here. I probably will still put a tower in, but it won't be circular. So I'm going to get rid of that. The thing is, the block area I kind of want to keep fairly square. Not really round shapes and such. So instead, we're gonna block in a square tower. Put a sort of a different feel in each area. I have to keep stopping to sleep because I keep getting attacked by mass numbers of monsters. Oop, I'll take that actually. I keep making the center building a little bit bigger because I keep thinking it's just not quite the size that I want for a big, like, central hub building. It's probably gonna end up being too big now, but whatever. Oops, whatever. I definitely don't need that. We'll figure it out. That's the nice thing about Minecraft. You can pick up and move all the blocks. Well, almost all the blocks, technically. There's one block for sure that you cannot move unless something's changed and I don't know about it. And I mean, as far as I know, the only block that you are not able to pick up and move is the whatchamacallit in the ancient city. The reinforced deep slate. 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be a 6th area. Count that as 8. This is 9. That as 10. So I need to put in approximately 6 more buildings. approximately. So these kind of all fit together. The style with the block area is going to be fairly tight-fitting, fairly square, fairly tight-fitting. Oops, I'm out of wool again. Darn it. Not a lot of extra space, not a lot of curved lines and such like that. Wrong set of boxes. The plant area, which I think is going to be over there, is going to be a lot more curved and a little more spaced out, but mostly just more curved. The mobs and odds and ends over there will probably have the most space, but it might be a bit cubier again. And I don't know what the nether is going to look like in terms of a style other than nethery, but nethery is not a style. Oh my goodness. How many extra blocks can I place? Let's just gather these back up. We do need a couple of very large buildings in here. We can do another long one. Whoops, wrong click. Anybody else have an issue where they just constantly like do the wrong click for no reason? Like, you know, it's right click to place blocks, but for some reason you're just determined to left click for no real purpose. Oh, that's too far forwards. I don't have anything on me. Yeah, it has to be a minimum of that far back. So this is a very narrow building, but a very long one. Oops. I'm gonna have to pick up that string eventually. As each of the main canals is about 5 wide, so back up a little bit. Might make this a little bit longer, should we? Sure, let's make it a little bit longer. This is an awkward spot to fit anything else in, so we'll just make a really long building. Because it works better. Because these are the straight sides, so everything's kind of squared off over here. And just another kind of square one. Just basic, not too big. Wool. And by kind of square, I apparently mean more rectangular than square. We do that. There we go. Full of much. Oops, that's not gonna work again. Reminder to self, when you do the next one, make sure that you build all the canals first. There's a little place, because it is very tricky to know exactly where the blocks are gonna have to go for this when it's not built. Just saying. There. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We might end up having to remove a couple of places, so we'll do another one. Actually, I think I'm going to leave some blank space there, just purely because... Whoop, not like that, though. We need a couple of decently large buildings in here, so... in addition to stone, which is probably the biggest one, we do also have the granite, andesite, diorite, deep slate, tuff, all of which have a whole lot of forms and are therefore slightly difficult space-wise. That should be enough room there. I just need to watch out for that. Okay, and I will need to put 1 or 2 torches over here, because there's now a block in the way of the torches that were previously doing that. Let me get that block. Kind of amazed that I haven't fallen off of this thing more while I've been trying to do this. More than I have. This place really likes spawning creepers, and I really don't want creepers up here. Because if they go off, that is a bunch of work for me to fix. Skeletons, zombies, spiders, don't mind. They don't damage the surroundings. Creepers damage the surroundings. Where'd that other one go? There you are. How precisely did you spawn up here? Goodbye. Yeah, he landed on ice. He's gone. Don't need to worry about him. And we shall have to sleep again. And then see if we've got some layout in place. And not just complete mess. There's a box around here somewhere that I can dump crap in. It's in my inventory. There we go. I have acacia that I can make a bunch of planks out of. 15. There. And I have a couple spares. I don't need those though. We have 16 signs. So not only can we put buildings in, we can label them. Except I'm not going to label them right now. I'm just going to put the signs in. Just for counting purposes. This is probably going to end up being one of the stones. This might be deep slate or tough. Let's say deep slate for now. Because they're larger, ice and snow down there. Get rid of these three. We'll put it under that one. It doesn't make the most sense to have the big, huge main building have the random basement under it when nothing else has a basement. This whole place is stone and all of its various forms. We'll put mud over here and all of its various forms. This odd little place with its window isn't huge, but it looks nice. Geode blocks. There. The tower currently hasn't got anything in it. It has other purposes. This is another one of the stones because it's big. Dirt also needs a big place. Dang it, where am I putting... Oh, wait. No. Yes, dirt is over here. Darn it. We'll put sand over there, and sandstone, and red sand, and red sandstone. This is a good place for something like terracotta because it's long and skinny, but you can put a whole bunch of things in long and skinny. Dirt is going to be a multi-floor. Because dirt's got levels, we can put it in a smaller building and get away with it. This will be stones number 3. Obviously, I don't know which stone thing is going in which place, but that's all of them. What am I missing? Don't think I labeled anything for tough yet. Just as a basic figuring, I didn't label this place. But I also need... You're not labeled? Nope, you're stones. It's this one that didn't get labeled. Right. Tough over there. I do also need a place in here for glass, which I'm thinking, since it's going to need to be another slightly large place, we'll probably end up here. Yeah, we don't really want to move that forwards anymore. Glass doesn't need to be that big. That's a little carried away. Let's go here. Let's see if that works. Give me that. We do need to put gravel somewhere. We do need gravel. We also, unfortunately, need concrete somewhere. Separate. Now, gravel is going to be small. Gravel can live over here. That's really the only thing with gravel is gravel. Concrete is going to get the other front spot, I guess, out of necessity. And glass and concrete might scooch around a little bit so that they both actually fit properly. Concrete, ooh, that's way too close. Doesn't need to be too huge, but it needs to be big enough. Okay, put that back by 1. Well, I guess the shulkers have become part of the outline. We are not making the shulkers part of the outline, just to be clear. That's probably enough space for concrete. Where's my other edge? It's over here. There we go. Coral is going in plants. Moss is going in plants. And all like that. This is concrete. And concrete powder, obviously. I feel like I'm missing something. What am I forgetting? I know I'm forgetting something. Stone, 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 stone. The 4 primary stone types are taken care of. We've got deep slate, we've got tough, we've got gravel, we've got sand, we've got concrete, glass, terracotta, the geode, dripstone, geodes, mud, yeah, knew it, dripstone. I knew I was missing one of them. Where can I put dripstone? It's not big. It might get a little tiny place over here. I can probably go forward that far. It's just kind of squeezed in here. There, and whoops. With that, what was this? This was dripstone. There is one small problem that I have just realized, and that is I forgot it again. Oh my goodness. Where's my brain? What is it that I keep forgetting? I keep forgetting a block. Bricks. Bricks are what I keep forgetting. We do have an empty space in here, fortunately, so I guess this is where the bricks are going to go. This edge may have to move slightly to accommodate everything else around here. This isn't going to be huge once again. Oop. I don't have a sign for this, but that's fine. Okay. Since I have apparently completely lost the ability to place blocks properly, there we go. Bricks. Okay. I think this area is reasonably organized and at least vaguely planned out. Now we really need to get the actual ground layer in here so we can start building all of these up. That might take a while. So we will see how long that takes. Once that's done, I will come back and we'll start building this. There may be an intermediary episode purely because I won't necessarily have enough time to finish. Even with all of this in here, this is still a lot of blocks. So we'll see when that gets done. But next time, we're up here at least, we will be working on the buildings in this area so we can start moving storage in. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.